Hey everyone, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a new series on my channel. I'm actually going to be breaking 2020 into 4 quarters. So I am going to be talking about my first quarter favorites. What I plan to do for this video is just tell you about some of the books that have really stand out and made me want to recommend them to my friends that I know here locally here in Virginia. And I've pretty much convinced all of my friends to read these books, so I'm super excited to show you some of the recommendations and some of my personal favorites of 2020 so far. So I'm going to be talking about the books that I have read from January to the end of March. Some of these books I do currently own, some of them I don't, so if I don't own it, I will just put up a picture up on the screen. The first book I want to talk about is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I feel like I've raved about this book so much throughout the whole year, but this is probably one of my favorite thrillers I've read this year, and I do highly recommend it to almost everybody. This one involves a married couple by the name of Jack and Grace. You follow their story from when they first met to when, present day, and they seem like your average couple. They seem like they're perfect and meant to be, but you kind of get this sense that there's something off about them too. And trust me, there is something really crazy. I love like domestic thrillers where, I don't know, I feel like I just love this trope. I do know my friend Jacqueline over at Weeby Bookin just recently read The Last Mrs. Parrish, and she said that it was very similar as far as like the vibe and the trope to Behind Closed Doors. So I would say that is pretty accurate. So if you've liked The Last Mrs. Parrish, you should definitely check out this one, or vice versa as well. And I ended up giving this one 5 stars. The next one that I want to talk about is The Perfect Child by Lucinda Berry. I do own this copy, but my friend Rachel is borrowing it at the current moment. This one is a little bit more, it's labeled as a psychological thriller, and I can kind of see where that is, but I kind of don't at the same time. This one follows a married couple who work in the same hospital. One of them is a nurse, one of them is a surgeon, and one night they get a call saying that the police are escorting a child into the hospital they found, and she's like covered in blood, scratches, and scars. As the married couple is taking care of this child in the hospital, they kind of grown attached to the child, and they decide to put her in emergency custody for foster care, and they end up adopting her. But there's some secrets behind this child that just don't quite add up. Definitely recommend this one if you want something a little bit different. I would say this is probably a really original story that I've currently read, so I would highly recommend it as well. The next one I want to talk about is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillard. I would definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a little bit more of like a crime, but not following a detective or a police officer or someone of the law. This one I loved because it was very different. You follow this woman named Gio who back in high school, her and her best friend were like super tight. Well, then one day she went missing. No one knows what happened. And in one time period, she is being sentenced to jail as an accomplice because her boyfriend, who is this strangler known in her area, killed her friend, and she knew about it and helped hide the body. So then she's getting out of jail. She's kind of adapting to everything that's going on, but there's also very similar murders happening, and they think that maybe she might be connected, or she might know where this boyfriend is because apparently he escaped somehow. So definitely check this one out if you're looking for more of like a detective mystery, but also like not heavily influenced in that sense. The next one I want to talk about is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I loved this book. I've raved about it multiple times. But the reason why I gave this one 5 stars is because it was truly touching. I felt all the feels and emotions that this book was meant to give. It follows this couple where they follow 2 different timelines. You follow them when they first meet and when they're married. When they're married, their marriage is kind of falling apart just due to this infertility issue that they're facing. And then you follow when they first met and how they fall in love, and This one just really gripped me and like crushed me, but like had the best ending in the best possible way. So definitely give this one out if you're looking for a good old sob story. The next one I want to talk about is Pet Sematary. I actually did a video on this. I will link it down in the cards and in the description. But this one, I actually read the book, gave it 5 stars. This one follows the Creed family and they move to Maine to take on a new job. They buy this new house, which is in front of this old community pet cemetery, and there's just a lot of history, a lot of secrets that are involving the pet cemetery, and yeah, that's all I'm going to say. The reason why I loved Pet Sematary is, for one, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. I've always been wanting to get more and more into his stories, and for 2, it's definitely got like this like eerie vibe that continues throughout the whole book. You kind of see like the old school Stephen King writing style, and it was actually kind of an easy read for me. I was very much impressed with the writing style and how easy it was to like flow, because I did read that one for the Backlist Readathon as my most intimidating read, and I ended up loving it. So definitely check that one out if you're wanting to get more into Stephen King books. The next one I want to talk about is Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillard. This one should be published at the end of April, I believe, so you should be able to get it pretty soon. I had it on my NetGalley arc. I did talk about it in a previous video, but I absolutely loved this book. This one was so well done. I think Jennifer Hillard is going to be one of my new favorite authors that I'm definitely going to... It never fails that they bark while I'm trying to film. Anyways, moving on. So it's definitely, I believe this author is going to be someone that I'm checking out in the future for all of her books. I may look and see what else she has written. But this one follows a woman whose son goes missing about 18 months ago. And ever since then, she's been, you know, just very down. Her and her husband are having marital problems. The case has gone cold. There's no other new leads. And she has hired a private investigator to pick up where the police and the FBI left off. And she gets a call saying, like, you know, from the private investigator saying, hey, I have some news, please come to my office. And she doesn't have any news about her son, but she finds out that the private investigator found out that her husband is having an affair. So it kind of like sparks something in her. And then you kind of read from the person that the husband is having an affair with. So I loved this one. I will say I did see the ending coming, but it was so enjoyable that I just had to give it 5 stars. All right, guys, that is all the books that I've read for the first quarter that I've given 4 or 5 stars, and I've been recommending like crazy. Definitely leave some recommendations down in the description as well if you have anything that you would like me to read and review. And check me out on Instagram. It's at readingadjustwith_. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more bookish content. I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you're doing well. Bye.